Senate or House. This is the first public hearing we've had. 200 folks who are on secret designated combatant lists have been killed. U.S. troops have been injured. Hundreds of millions of dollars have been spent. An armada amassed. The announcement of a new Monroe Doctrine, which does not land well in the Americas. Democrats have been asking over and over again, can we have a public hearing? Can we share what we know with the American public? Finally, a public hearing. But even that hearing is constrained. I'd like to talk about the complete weakness of the legal rationale about the strikes on boats in international waters, but I can't because the administration has only shared it with members in a classified setting. I can't tell you why the domestic rationale is hollow and the international rationale is hollow. I can't tell you why the rationale for attacking Venezuela is hollow because, again, the rationale has been shared with us in a closed setting. I can't share with you the grim details of the murder of shipwrecked survivors in open waters that we all know because we've seen the videos and we've questioned the U.S. military officials involved about legality because the administration will not release that publicly. They released the boat strike videos publicly, but they hid the second strike that killed struggling shipwreck survivors, even from Congress, for nearly 3 months, but I can't really talk to you about it. I can't talk to you about the weakness of the targeting criteria being used to attack boats in the Caribbean and Pacific. I would encourage any colleague, if you have not, go to the classified setting and ask for a briefing on each strike and ask this question: what was the evidence that there were narcotics on that craft? You will be very surprised if you ask that question about every strike. And so even in this first public hearing, 5 months in, there's a lot we can't talk about. If it was such a righteous operation, why is the administration and the majority in this Senate so jealously protecting the details about it from being revealed to the American public? I have Virginians deployed in this operation. I can't answer their families' questions. Thank God we're having a public hearing 5 months in. This is supposed to be the greatest deliberative body in the world. Mr. Secretary, who won the July 2024 Venezuelan presidential election?
Oh, I think the whole world would acknowledge it was Edmundo Gonzalez.
Who lost that election?
Maduro.
And his vice president, Delcy Rodriguez. Now, you have made the decision, the administration has made the decision in the aftermath of the attack that Delcy Rodriguez should be leading the country. Let me read something that President Trump said about her on January 14 about Delcy Rodriguez, who lost the election with Maduro. We just had a great conversation today, and she's a terrific person. I mean, she's somebody that we have worked with very well. Let me tell you what Delcy Rodriguez said the day after Venezuela was attacked. Governments around the world are simply shocked that the Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela is the victim and target of an attack of this nature, which undoubtedly has Zionist undertones. What the hell did Delcy Rodriguez mean when she said this attack had Zionist undertones? I'm assuming you have no idea.
Oh, I have an idea what she meant. I mean, what's the question?
What does she mean when she says this attack has Zionist undertones?
Look, I'd have to answer, but let me understand in a broader context. No one here is telling you that this is what we want to see in the long term.
Okay.
This is not a campaign to leave in place the system that's currently in place.
Let me switch.
But we either have, but I mean, the criticism of us is, all right, go ahead. No, go ahead.
I'm ready to switch now to talk about somebody that you know well.
You raised an important point. If I can get back to it, I will.
You know well and you respect well Maria Corina Machado. Here's what President Trump said about her. Won the Nobel Prize in the aftermath of the attack on Venezuela. I think it would be very tough for her to be the leader. She doesn't have the support within or the respect within the country. She's a very nice woman, but she doesn't have the respect. What did President Trump mean by that?
Yeah. First of all, I've known Maria Corina for probably 12 years, 13 years. Have dealt with her probably more than anybody, as much as anybody on this committee has for certain. And I'll be meeting with her today, in fact. And we met with her a couple weeks ago. So here's the reality, though, and I think what the president was pointing to. And I think Maria Corina would acknowledge this.
I talked to her last week.
Well,
she's very disappointed in those comments, and so are Venezuelans in my state.
Okay, well, she didn't share that with me or with us, but I would say this to you. For the president is acknowledging is that today, as it stands, whether we like it or not, the elements of control in that country, the people with the guns, the people that control the guns and the institutions of government there, are in the hands of this regime. So we either, on the one hand, we're getting criticized. Some people are saying we don't want regime change. On the other hand, we're being criticized for not undertaking regime change.
Mr. Secretary,
what we're trying to trigger here is a process of stabilization, recovery, and transition to something where Maria Karina and others can be a part of. And that's what we're working
You have
for.
respect for her, don't you?
Sure.
Okay, great. My last question is this.
And so does the president, by the way. He met with her. They had a great meeting. And he actually he spoke to her last week in my presence.
Here's what he said after that meeting. We're talking to her, and maybe we can get her involved in some way. I'd love to be able to do that. Maybe we can do that. We'll set the terms for this Nobel Prize winner having a leadership role. Last question is this. You talked about the speech in Davos. Here's something the president said in Davos. I'm helping NATO until the last few days. When I told them about Iceland, they loved me. They're not here for us on Iceland, that I can tell you. Our stock market took the first dip yesterday because of Iceland, so Iceland has already cost us a lot of money. The president repeatedly mistook Iceland for Greenland, right? We're not mad at Iceland. They haven't cost us any money. The president just mistook the two countries for each other, correct?
Yeah, he meant to say Greenland, but I think we're all familiar with presidents that have verbal stumbles. We've had presidents like that before. Some made a lot more than this one.
Nice try. Thanks. All right. Thank you. I thought he did well.
Here is what the media won't tell you. Kaine came to that hearing with 5 months of built-up frustration, classified briefings he could not discuss publicly, operations he could not describe, details he could not share, and a closing argument he clearly prepared for weeks. Then Rubio dismantled every piece of it in real time. First, the Venezuela reality check. Kaine laid out his core argument. Edmundo Gonzalez won the July 2024 Venezuelan presidential election. Maduro lost, and yet the Trump administration was now working with Delcy Rodriguez, Maduro's former vice president, as the de facto leader of Venezuela. The day after the American attack on Venezuela, Rodriguez said the strikes had Zionist undertones. Kaine asked Rubio what she meant. Rubio said he had a very good idea what she meant. Then he made the argument that Kaine could not counter. Today, whether anyone likes it or not, the people with the guns and the institutions of government in Venezuela are in the hands of this regime. You either work with that reality or you pretend it doesn't exist. This administration chose reality. Kaine said the region did not receive the new Monroe Doctrine well. Rubio acknowledged that too, but pointed out that being liked and being effective are two different things. Second, the Maria Karina Machado question. Kaine read Trump's comment that Machado is a very nice woman, but doesn't have the support or respect to lead Venezuela. Kaine said Venezuelans in his state were deeply disappointed by those words. Rubio said he had known Machado for 12 or 13 years, that he was meeting with her at the State Department that same afternoon, that Trump himself had spoken to her the previous week. Then Rubio explained what Trump's comment actually meant. The goal is a transition process that gets Machado and others into leadership. But today, the regime holds the power. You cannot install a leader by wishing it. You work toward it. Third, the classified frustration. Kaine's most legitimate point was his most constrained one. He spent the opening of his remarks listing everything he could not say publicly. The legal rationale for the boat strikes, the targeting criteria, the details of what happened to shipwreck survivors, all classified. He asked directly, if this was such a righteous operation, why is the administration so jealously protecting the details from the American public? That is a real and fair question. Rubio's answer was that classified information stays classified for operational reasons, not political ones, that the briefings were available to any senator who requested them, that more details would become available over time. Fourth,